Tividar here. Today I'm going to talk to you about this book, The Plague by Albert Camus. I'm going to do this video in two parts. The first part is going to be about the book, and the second part is going to be about how the book and the coronavirus are similar. So first off, the narrator, who happens to be Dr. Ray, but you don't learn that until later, he is talking about the strange occurrences that are going on in the French Algerian town in Oran. Now, the first incident is described by the narrator, who happens to be Dr. Ray. He says this: when leaving his surgery on the morning of April 16th, Dr. Bernard Ray felt something soft under his foot. It was a dead rat lying in the middle of the landing, and soon there were thousands of dead rats. At first, the city officials really didn't bother with it. They didn't care. But there were so many after a while, they had to round them up and collect them and then cremate them, because the rats were creating such a problem. All right, and so the first human death was a guy named M. Michel. He had a swollen neck, growing in armpits, and he also had a fever. He, and like several other people, died the same way. And that's when Dr. Ray decided that he was going to get involved. He says this. He says, "I have no idea what's awaiting me or what will happen when this all ends. For the moment, I know this. There are sick people and they need curing. But the question is, how does one fight the plague? It's a evil. It's killing people and they're suffering. How do you fight this faceless evil? What do? That's the question. So just like the dead rats, at first city officials tried to ignore it, but so many people started to die, and they eventually labeled it an epidemic, and people had to be quarantined inside their homes. And obviously this is going to create a problem because people like their freedom. They want to be out and doing things. And now they feel imprisoned. They can't go anywhere. Can't do what they used to do. Now, on a positive note, the people started to work together. They felt like this was their collective destiny. They had to join forces and fight this evil that was destroying them. Not everybody wanted to remain in the town. Rambert, he was a journalist. He tried his best to get out. He did this legally at first. He told city officials, hey, I'm a stranger in this town. I don't belong here. Let me go. But that didn't work, so he started to talk to some figures in the underground and thought about doing it illegally, trying to escape. But eventually he thought, well, I'm going to stand and fight this virus, and I'm going to work with Dr. Ray. And so that's what he did. He stayed. Another character is Father Panelu, a Jesuit priest. He tells the people of Oran that they deserve this, that God is cleansing the world of sin, basically. Now he says this: "Calamity has come to you, my brethren, and my brethren, you deserved it. The just man need have no fear, but the evildoer has cause to tremble." Now this father, he eventually dies, but he doesn't die of the plague. He's there to tell people to get their lives right with God. I don't see him as such a bad guy. I think that he's good, in my opinion. Now, Dr. Ray doesn't believe in God. And he figures that belief in God or appealing to a higher power is philosophical suicide. It means that you are ignoring the present situation. You're ignoring what is happening at the moment. You're looking for something else. You're not in the here and now. You're not present. Another character is Monsour Grande. He gets the plague, but he recovers. Not everybody dies from the plague. Now this plague, though, You have to understand it affects everybody. The rich, the poor, the young, the old, the famous, anybody and everybody. And after the cemeteries fill up, the bodies have to be cremated, just like with the rats. Now this reminds me of some images I saw where there was a long line of Italian army trucks, and in those trucks were dead bodies, people who died from the coronavirus. Towards the end of the book, there is a decline in deaths, and people are able to go out and try to live life as they did before. But there's still a hint that the plague will return, because they always do. So parallels between the book and the coronavirus. Well, for one thing, people weren't worried about the plague at first. And the same thing with this coronavirus. They weren't really concerned. They didn't think it was going to turn into anything big, but it did. Another is, in the book, people were quarantined, just like they are now. They were also under martial law. And you could say we're kind of under a martial law type situation with these lockdowns, or not. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of a quasi mixture between the two. In the book, the doctor was searching for an anti-plague serum. You know, they got one, they tried it out on a kid, the kid still died. A very painful, sad death. But it started to work on other people, and they start to see positive results. And it's just like with the coronavirus, they're looking for something to cure it. In the plague, newspapers were told to be optimistic. Now, in our world, the media has caused a panic. I think the panic is worse than the coronavirus itself. Once people start to recover, things will get back to normal. The virus will have left, or the virus will mutate into something else. I mean, it's hard to say. I don't know the future. So this book isn't filled with action scenes or love scenes or anything like that. It is a war against a faceless evil. And evil is faceless. Evil takes the form of people like Hitler or Stalin or the plague. But evil itself cannot be seen. It can only manifest. I think you should get this book just out of curiosity, so that you could see the similarities between the plague and the coronavirus. Well, anyway, that's all I got. Talk to you later. Bye.